Before it all happened, many visitors to Yellowstone were blissfully unaware that it was volcanic. After all, where was the cone-shaped volcano, like Mount St. Helens or Vesuvius? They didn't realize that they were actually standing on top of it, that beneath their feet was one of the largest volcanoes in the world. The truth is, we were only just beginning to understand the workings of the park ourselves. And Virgil, the virtual geophysical imaging laboratory, well, that was going to help us. Or at least, that's what our boss, Michael Eldridge, tried to persuade the press.
With it, we can input data from seismometers, GPS instruments, and video cameras strategically positioned around the park to produce a living, breathing 3D model of what's happening here at Yellowstone. Virgil can also help us to understand the park's beating heart. The vast reservoir of red-hot molten rock that lies just a few kilometers beneath where you're sitting now. The sleeping dragon that powers all of the geysers and hot springs, mud spots and steam vents that draw people here in their millions every year.
You see those colors around the edges?
Yeah.
They're creatures.
Creatures?
Tiny, tiny creatures called thermophiles. You can only see them with a microscope, and they can only live in very, very hot water like this. In fact, some scientists believe that all life on Earth began in places just like this 3.5 billion years ago.
Billion?
Maggie Chin, KCVZ News, Salt Lake City.
Hello.
Hello. Your model is very impressive, sir.
Thank you, Miss Chin.
My question is, will it help?
Help what, Miss Chin?
Well, in the last decade, we've seen more and more ground uplift at Yellowstone. 12 feet, I believe, is the conservative estimate.
Well, that estimate is not conservative.
Nonetheless, many of your colleagues in the scientific community believe that it's one of many signs that an eruption is coming.
I'm going to let Rick Lieberman, scientist in charge of the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, deal with that one. Rick?
Thank you. This is a sequence of Yellowstone's geological behavior over the past 100 years. Okay, there we go. You see, what we have beneath our feet here at Yellowstone is a type of volcano, a type of hidden volcano, referred to as a restless caldera. Caldera because you'll note it resembles the shape of a cauldron, and restless because it spends much of its life doing what you see it's doing right here. It's huffing and puffing as the magma and the hydrothermal systems beneath the ground rise and fall for reasons that we actually don't fully yet understand. This uplift that you've mentioned, Maggie, is very simply just a part of everyday life here at Yellowstone.
So we're definitely not looking at an imminent super eruption.
Let me say this. The chances of a so-called super eruption are on the order of something like 1 in 600,000. In fact, it's more than twice as likely that an airplane will crash into your backyard. So,
Haven't we just seen extra ground uplift at Norris?
yes, yeah, we have, as a matter of fact, but that may well be hydrothermal. A buildup of water. I'll tell you what, Miss Chin, you give me $10 right now, and I will offer you odds of 600,000 to 1. So if this thing does go up, you'd make a killing. Okay.
That doesn't mean you see it.
I'm not saying you do. Hey, how are you?
Hey.
Faithful.
Hey, William.
Great.
Look, as Eldridge said, it is a tool.
Oh, come on, it's unreliable.
We're not relying on it.
Hey, what was that? What was that?
That was a press conference.
That was a joke.
We were unveiling Virgil. What did you want me to say? Hello, everyone, this is Virgil, and it frankly has no more of an idea of what's going on down there than we do, but thank you for coming. Buckle up.
Matt, you check out the busted seismometers.
I'll get there tomorrow.
Good. Here's the point. We could have replaced all of those seismometers for the money spent on Virgil. That's the point.
Yeah, listen, Big V will have its uses. I'll see you soon.
Good to see you, man.
See you, pal.
Listen, I need the coordinates of the Taiwan quake. Yeah. Kaohsiung region. Yeah. Hey. 5-7. Yep. 3-3. Okay.
This thing takes up far too much space, you know. Hooray. Thanks, Matt.
Guess what this is?
You tell me.
Pumice. It comes from deep inside a volcano. It's so hot the rocks all melted. But when the volcano blows up, it gets blown high into the sky. And guess what? It floats.
Oh, it does.
My coffee.
How many is that? A rock that floats.
Yeah, okay, pal. That's enough.
Hey, I found out about flights. They said it's fine at 7 months.
Oh, come on, Fee.
Honey, we just flew to Yellowstone back.
Yeah, I know, but that way you were with me, and B, you weren't in the air for like 11 hours.
Well, then I don't get to see my mum this side of Christmas, do I? What is it?
Shit. We got a quake.
What?
I'll call you. I'll see you guys soon.
This is Matt.
What's the damage?
Some broken glass for sure, nothing major.
Okay, what do we got?
Be in touch. 6.9. 10 kilometers beneath the South Arm Fork.
Okay, I'm running a simulation. 6.9 at what?
10 kilometers beneath the South Arm Fork.
That's confirmed, 6.9. Standing by for more data.
Give me the webcam images of the fishing bridge area. Over, say the last 5 minutes. Whoa, go back. Tell Matt he needs to get to the other end of the lake. Where are you gonna be? I'm gonna be in my office.
Fortunately, due to the remoteness of the area, damage was limited. But tragically, 9 bodies have been recovered so far, 3 of them children. All from the fishing bridge area of the park. As well, 43 people have been taken to hospital with various injuries, some of them life-threatening. I'm going to hand you over now to Mr. Rick Lieberman of the USGS, then we'll take some questions. Rick?
The earthquake, a 6.9 on the Richter scale, occurred at 12:13 local time, centered at a depth of 10 kilometers beneath Mount Sheridan, at the southern end of Lake Yellowstone. The earthquake triggered a landslide off the South Arm Fork, which in turn caused a tsunami wave to hit the northern shore here a few minutes later. All indicators suggest that this quake was not volcanic, but was tectonic in its nature, caused by a grinding together of the Earth's plates along a known fault line. The pattern of aftershocks of decreasing magnitude is consistent with this type of seismic activity. Any questions?
Is it true Old Faithful is stopped?
Yes, that is true. However, ground movement can both block and unblock hydrothermal features.
Has there been any effect on the uplift at Norris?
No, not that we've seen at all, no.
Are you still sure that there isn't going to be an eruption, Mr. Lieberman?
As I've said, Miss Chin, this earthquake was not caused by volcanic activity, as far as we know. We are increasing our alert status to yellow, which, as you know, does mean watch. Yep.
Does that mean you're not ruling out an eruption?
Look, Miss Chen, Yellowstone has sometimes as many as 3,000 earthquakes every year. None of them followed by eruptions. Now, everything points to this being a one-off tragic accident.
The truth?
We had the Hebgen Lake earthquake in 1959, a couple of miles from Yellowstone. 7.5 in the Richter scale. Massive landslide, 29 dead. And it didn't indicate a damn thing. Again in 1975. Mag 6, it didn't either. I mean, hell, I'm a politician, not a scientist. The USGS guys tell me it's another Hebgen Lake. I got to take their word for it. You know? You go on the available facts. Problem was that with a place the size of Yellowstone, well, we didn't have all the available facts.
North Dakota goes there.
Yellowstone so much.
So South Dakota
Noted
should go.
geophysicist Dr. Kenneth Wiley. His new book, Superbangs, deals directly with phenomena similar to those we've seen in recent days at Yellowstone. The book carries with it some dire warnings about the consequences of ignoring this.
Richard Lieberman, YVO.
Hey, it's me. You better take a look at KCVZ News.
I will do that, thank you. I'll call you back.
I think we have good reason to be concerned.
Maggie, I think that we ought to make a clear distinction between a regular volcanic eruption and a extreme eruption. Mount St. Helens was the most violent eruption in American history. Killed 57 people, and it erupted about 1 cubic kilometer of volcanic ash.
Watching
and
the
rock.
great man, huh?
Now let's say that this cube here represents the amount of volcanic material ejected by Mount St. Helens. Now, in volcanic terms, it's a tiddler. Krakatoa,
Tiddler.
the Indonesian volcano that erupted in 1883, was 17 times larger than Mount St. Helens, killed 36,000 people, and it's represented by this cube here. And finally, we have this. This is 2,500 times the size of Mount St. Helens. This is a supervolcano. This is currently sitting underneath the ground at Yellowstone Park.
And when was the last time one of these super eruptions happened?
About 74,000 years ago, in a place called Toba, on the other side of the world, Sumatra. Now, the volcanic eruption there was so vast, it created a volcanic winter, plunged the world into darkness, and all but wiped out the human race.
Missed one, though, didn't it?
And Yellowstone has produced eruptions on this sort of scale before?
Oh, yes. 3 times in the last 2 million years.
And you think that the activity that we're seeing there right now may indicate that it's about to happen for a 4th time?
Oh, God. Yes, I do believe that these events are cyclical. 3 caldera-forming eruptions in the last 2.1 million years means, on average, 1 eruption every 600,000 years. And we haven't had an eruption like that at Yellowstone for 640,000 years now.
In other words, we're overdue.
No. Yes, I believe that.
Jeez.
I believe that the warning signs are there, if you care to read them.
Thank you, Dr. Wiley.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Wiley.
God. I know he's your brother-in-law, Rick, but the guy's a total numpty.
That's not a good thing, right?
No, that's not good, no. We were trying to monitor something so vast that it was almost incomprehensible. The park itself is over 2 million acres, and somewhere within that was the volcano. But for the longest time, we couldn't figure out where. Then in the 80s, NASA took some aerial photographs of the park, and these photographs revealed the volcanic crater for the first time. It turns out we'd been looking on the wrong scale. This crater measured 85 kilometers by 45, big enough to hold the largest city in the world, Tokyo. Population 18 million.
Yes, I did see Mr. Wiley on the television. No. Approximately every 600,000 years, sir. I mean, with a conservative margin of error, we could be up by 100.
And I'm telling you, sir, we're not hiding anything, all right? Everything we know is out on our website.
How's it looking, Matt? It's looking good, normal. I'd like to make a couple more passes, though. Sure, no problem.
No, sir, no. Sir, I'm afraid that drilling down to try to siphon off the magma wouldn't work. No. In fact, it could probably cause the whole thing to go off.
Yeah, I don't like that. Can we get down there?
It's all true. This thing's ready to blow in a matter of, well, days, if not hours, and absolutely everybody is going to die horribly. You're welcome, Your Holiness.
Nice.
CO2 levels are good up here. It must be ground level CO2 that's killing those trees.
Yeah, it looks like those trees are dying.
Is there or is there not a magma chamber underneath Yellowstone National Park?
Yes, Ken.
Yes. And is this magma chamber of sufficient size that if there was an eruption there, it could potentially be rated as a super eruption?
Exactly.
Well, I'm not saying that there will. I'm saying that there's a chance.
No, what you said on television was overdue. You know that's what you said. Overdue, you said.
Caught up in the moment, I expect.
Well, you and a few million other people, I guess.
Hey, let's not do that.
No, sis, I have a legitimate scientific viewpoint. He thinks he's the...
Have you ever actually been to Yellowstone?
It's not necessary.
No.
Your excellent website provides all the data. I just interpret.
Oh, you misinterpret. That's what you do.
Can we not do this now, please?
Look, all I'm saying is you do not go on television and create a mass panic over one potential scenario just in order to sell a book.
Oh, come on. You don't go on television and tell everybody that everything's going to be just fine when you know damn well it might not be.
Kenneth?
No, but just...
No! Both of you. I said not now. I'm sick of this. Do you have nothing else? You haven't seen your nephew in over a year.
Sorry. Hello, Will. How's school?
Seamless.
Sorry.
When I first met Rick, he was a geology student, part of a team studying Yellowstone Lake. They discovered this enormous 2,000-foot-long bulge beneath the lake. And I got very excited about it. And the press got hold of the story and convinced a lot of people that Yellowstone was going to blow. It created this huge panic. And then nothing happened. Made Rick very cautious about what he said in public. And then when he got the job as scientist in charge, he paid even more attention to what he said.
So, it's a boy, right?
Little boy dragon.
Huh.
And with a new feature.
Show me.
Some sort of anomaly above the magma chamber just below Firehole Creek Basin.
Yeah.
Could be water or gas.
An intrusion of magma through a fault line opened up by the quake, right? Yeah, impossible to tell till we get a clear image. Oh, thanks.
We're still processing all the data from the KO Sunquake.
Oh, God, that was days ago.
Yeah, I know.
Listen, Matt's found a section of dead pine to the northeast of Sour Creek.
You got a visitor.
Hang on. Northeast of Sour Creek Dome, along a ring fracture of the caldera rim.
CO2 or heat?
CO2, suffocating the roots.
The magma's only 2 to 3 kilometers deep at that point.
Yeah, or less if it's rising. All right, so who is it?
Wendy something from FEMA.
Wendy Rice? The undersecretary in charge of the Federal Emergency Management Agency is here. You told her to wait in my office. You're fired, Dave.
You can't fire me.
Yeah, you're lucky that's true.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Rice,
You've caught me off guard.
It's all right.
I'm Richard Lieberman.
Yes, Rick, I recognize you from the television.
Oh.
Just call me Wendy.
Thanks. Well, sorry about the mess. Wendy?
No problem.
It's been a busy couple of days. Please, sit down.
Yeah, I'm just going to cut to the chase, Rick. I want to know if we should be worried about this.
Based on the data that we're getting, yes, there are indicators that there could be an eruption. Or it could be business as usual at Yellowstone. Now, if there is an eruption, then there is a good possibility that it's going to be a moderate one.
This isn't enough, Rick. If there's even the slightest chance of this happening, I want to know what that means. I want to know what we can do about it.
How much do you know about super eruptions?
But super in front of eruption, I don't imagine it means better.
Can I show you something?
Please.
Okay. See, the magma chamber that sits underneath Yellowstone? Well, here. We think it's roughly the same dimensions as the caldera rim itself. We think it's around 40 kilometers wide by 80 kilometers long and around 8 kilometers deep.
You think?
Yeah, it's a very difficult thing to get a clear picture of. In fact, the only way to even attempt to see a magma chamber is, ironically enough, by relying on earthquakes. Have a seat, please.
Thank you.
It's called seismic tomography. What we do is we plant an array of seismographs throughout the park, and then when an earthquake occurs, the seismic shock waves from these events travel through the Earth. Now, these waves move slightly slower through the molten rock than through the solid rock. So we can use these slight differences in arrival time here at the seismometers to begin to calculate and plot the rough dimensions of the chamber. It's kind of like sonar.
And that tells you how much magma is down there.
Well, what we're trying to determine essentially is the nature of this magma. Is it eruptible magma? Is it too viscous? Is it too sticky to go anywhere? Or is it molten enough? Is it liquid enough that it can escape? You know, we also want to know how it's situated in the chamber. Is it kind of spread out in individual pods or pockets throughout the chamber? Or, and this is what we don't want, is it accumulated in one place, sufficient enough that it could trigger a super eruption?
Okay, let's talk worst case scenario.
Okay, well, we have run some projections based on the first super eruption at Yellowstone 2.1 million years ago, essentially because this is the one we have the most data available on. Now, if the next one were to behave in a similar way, then we would be looking at between 2,000 and 3,000 cubic kilometers of rock, gas, and ash erupting across the United States in a pattern that looks like this. Zone 1 represents a 100-kilometer radius around Yellowstone. Basically, everything in this area would be completely wiped out by pyroclastic flows.
That's the rock and ash that spills from the side of an eruptive column.
That is a pyroclastic flow. These surges can travel up to 700 kilometers an hour. So, yeah, these journalists were very, very lucky. Yeah, this woman was caught at the edge of a pyroclastic flow. You see, these surges can reach up to 800 degrees Celsius. Anyway, yeah, that's what happens to anyone that's within the first 100-kilometer radius of the volcano. Now, out here in zones 2 and 3, virtually everyone and everything in these two areas will be trapped by extremely heavy ashfall.
That's roughly 3 million people.
Yeah. And here out in zone 4, we're talking about ashfall of around 15 centimeters. Now, 15 centimeters, that doesn't sound like a lot, but you add rain to 15 centimeters of volcanic ash, and that is certainly enough to collapse a roof. And then, you know, in zone 5, it gets down to around 5 centimeters of ashfall. This is a huge area covering most of the grasslands. Any animals that happen to be grazing there. And that's also the grain belt, of course, so that's all the food gone. And then zone 6, we tail down to around a centimeter of ash extending out to the eastern seaboard.
A centimeter. I read it takes just 1 millimeter to close an airport.
Yeah,
See, the thing that people don't understand about volcanic ash is it's not like ash from your backyard barbecue. It's rock. It's abrasive, it's pervasive, it's destructive, it shorts out electrical equipment, it clogs machinery, you name it. And it's also extremely tiny. It's 100 microns across. It's so tiny you can inhale it, and when you do, it combines with the moisture in your lungs and forms a cement-like mixture. You essentially drown in what's basically liquid concrete, so. Anyway, that is the worst case scenario. So you tell me, I mean, if an event like this were to happen, what is FEMA going to do?
Is it going to happen?
Is it going to happen? Yeah, it is going to happen. Is it going to happen in our lifetime? I don't know. And that is the most honest answer that anybody can give you, Wendy. I don't know.
I simply don't accept that we were complacent. The big problem is that volcanoes are notoriously difficult to predict. Well, look at Mount St. Helens. In 1980, it erupted horizontally rather than vertically, took us completely by surprise, killed 57 people, including one of our own guys. Even with the best equipment in the world, and we had the very best, by the way, even then, you still got two big blind spots, timing and scale. You can't tell when, and you can't tell how big.
I'll be Rick.
We'll contact the other stations. We establish an exact location.
Mr. Lieberman! Mr. Lieberman! Mr. Lieberman!
Yes.
Are you still denying the possibility of a super eruption?
Norris, as I've said to you before, Ms. Chin, Norris was a hydrothermal event, and by no means a surefire indicator of volcanic activity. And certainly not on the scale that you are referring to. Nevertheless, we have issued a code red warning because we don't take these things lightly. Yes.
Daddy.
Yeah. He's getting famous.
But you can't rule out a super eruption, can you?
Looks hot.
Likely as an asteroid strike, according to some experts.
And half as unlikely as being struck by lightning, Miss Chin. And how many of us lose sleep over that? That's all the time we have. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Too much politics, not enough science. Okay, are we ready to run this simulation?
Let's do it.
All right. So what I'd like to do is run through a couple of potential scenarios here.
Hey, Rick, we've got another quake just over a mile south of Norris.
Okay, how big?
1.9.
1.9, okay. Now, this anomaly that we've discovered near Norris, now this could be water and gas, as we know, or worst case scenario, it could be a new pod of eruptible magma. So I want to concentrate our simulations around this area and see what the potential damage could be, okay? So, option number one. Let's say that we've got 1 cubic kilometer of eruptible magma. Okay, and drop it. run it. No eruption.
Based on option 1, seems not.
All right, then let's keep all the other parameters the same, but increase it by 5, so we'll make it 5 cubic kilometers. Okay, how big is this?
Moderate VEI2.
VEI2, and duration?
Over approximately 3 days. With that amount of magma, it could have been a lot bigger.
Okay, let's increase it by another factor of 5 and make it 25 cubic kilometers.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
VEI5. Mount St. Helens size.
Right. So 10 times more magma, 1,000 times more eruption.
Potentially.
Okay, so let's increase it by another factor of 5 and make it 125 cubic kilometers. This time, let's just run it this time just from the hydrothermal blast.
Sure. VEI5 again.
Okay. VEI5 again. Whoa. What happened?
Computer glitch?
Okay, tell me what we just saw. All right, I'll say it. If we have a reservoir meltdown there that's larger than 125 cubic kilometers, then this model is telling us that even a moderate eruption near Norris could destabilize the rest of the chamber and trigger a,
VEI8. Super eruption.
That's great, great. And if frogs had wings, then they wouldn't bump their little green arses hopping around, eh? If there was a pocket of melt over 125 cubic kilometers, then a possible eruption at Norris may trigger further eruptions, which maybe, just possibly, could register as VEI8. Brilliant. Great. Jesus, you're letting yourself be spooked by a video game. Whoa. Just because there's a lot of magma down there doesn't mean that it's all going to come out. Big magma chambers can produce big eruptions, but they can also produce small ones. The real question is, what is the trigger that can set an eruption off? An earthquake, perhaps, opening up the roof of the chamber and allowing the magma to escape. But you see, many of the earthquakes at Yellowstone over the previous 600,000 years could have done that. And so far, not one had. To find out what was really going on at Yellowstone, we needed better images of the chamber. We also needed to see what was going on at ground level. We needed to be there.
How close are we here from Norris?
25 kilometers as per handbook rules. Exciting, huh?
Oh, yeah. Very exciting. With any luck, it'll erupt. Well, we have such a good view.
Rick?
Yeah.
Hey, it's Nancy. You better get up here right away.
Okay. So where's this uplift concentrated?
Here, Firehole River Basin.
Miles from Norris.
Hang on. The question is this rising magma or is this groundwater?
I could make a plausible case for either.
Yeah, I know you could.
Another 2.2 to the northeast of Norris.
That's the third today. So, we got another swarm coming?
I need the SRI data for the entire park. Could we get more instrumentation down at Firehole River Basin?
If we steal them from elsewhere.
Well, steal them.
The ground uplift, earthquake swarms, rising levels of carbon dioxide, and the hydrothermal event. All of these things can be indicators of volcanic activity. Equally, they can mean nothing. We closed the park to be safe, but that didn't stop the hordes of people coming to check it out for themselves.
Hey, Rick! Rick!
Hang on.
Hey,
Miss Chin.
can we come in? Look, I've got to cover this one way or another. It's my job.
Okay. Do you want to cover this? All right, then you need to understand what it is that you're covering. Yeah, it's me. Get me Matt. Okay, come on in, Maggie.
Let's go,
I'm
guys.
sorry, guys. It's not the crew, okay? Come on through. Just not the crew. It's me. We're going to give Maggie Chin the tour.
Take a look up there. You're looking at the northwestern rim of the giant caldera. It's where the ground fell over 1,000 feet after the last super eruption.
So we're in the volcano.
Sure are. I thought we'd take a little drive to the other side. So, what can you see?
Yellowstone Lake.
Okay. Now look out across the lake to that range of mountains on the far side.
The Absarokas.
That's right. How far would you say those mountains are from here?
How far? 10 miles?
Roughly 15. Now those mountains are where you'll find the eastern edge of the giant caldera. The western edge is about another 15 miles behind us. From north to south, it's even further. It's over 50 miles. So that's about 45 minutes of driving, and we're still only in the center of the volcano crater.
What's your point, Matt?
My point is, if this thing erupts, you'll die. If you think you're going to win some award or get promoted because you knew about this first, you won't. There won't be anyone around to give you your pat on the back. Ma'am, you need to get some perspective.
It erupts with devastating force, causing destruction on a previously unknown scale, not just in the immediate vicinity.
Just a few inches can increase the weight beyond breaking point, and that doubles it.
I wouldn't call it complacency exactly. I do think the USGS is being rather slow to react to certain threats that I think are rather serious.
Every 600,000 years. You think that it's going to happen on our watch?
I don't know. It's just a feeling. You feel it.
You know what? It's not a feeling. It's more, you know what it is? It's a fear.
Fear of what?
It's a fear of not knowing enough to be able to predict something like this. It's the fear of knowing too much and not being able to do anything about that. You know, it's not something that we can afford to take a gamble on, you know?
We look at numbers and graphs and simulations for answers. Well, what happens when we don't get them? Rick, It's different out here. There's a feeling that something's about to happen. But what do I know? So Fiona said she wants to go to England, and
my wife again?
You won't let her?
She's 7 months pregnant. You know, that's a long flight.
Yeah. Put her on the plane, Rick.
To a geologist like me, there is only one surefire sign of an impending eruption, and that's harmonic tremor. That's a seismographic reading which indicates that magma is on the move. Even then, though, even when you see one of those, you can't tell how big an eruption you're looking at, but you know that it's coming. Well, on the 26th of June, for the first time, we saw just that. We saw harmonic tremor.
And where is it?
Norris.
Rick, you want to suggest a change of alert?
Yeah, you know, another red, it's going to create more panic.
This is as sure as we get.
I know.
This is imminent now.
I know.
You want me to plug the data into Virgil?
And find out what?
Hang on.
No, really,
please,
and find out
please.
what?
Let's do that and just see if it... Look, there's going to be an eruption, okay? We know that.
I don't need you to tell me what harmonic tremor means. So now you need to advise an upgrade to the alert status, and you need to let people know.
Okay, so if I upgrade to a red, everyone's going to think that we've got a super eruption on our hands, and I am not going to be held responsible for some kind of mass panic.
But wait a minute, it is our responsibility. No, shut up, Dave. It's our job, it's our duty to let people know, to tell them what we know. So get your ass off the fence.
Well, and you tell me, going on TV and telling Joe Sixpack that the end of the world is nigh, you tell me how that's going to help this situation.
What do you think our purpose is here?
Hey, listen, I will brief FEMA and I will brief the state, but just before they evacuate the whole of America, they're going to want to know how big the thing's going to be.
Well, at least the ship's got a bloody captain there.
Guys?
This is going to be big.
What is going on?
Nothing is going on. What do you
Come
mean to say?
on. What, no mention of it for weeks, and all of a sudden we're going to England.
Not like that.
I'm not supposed to be suspicious.
Look, you said that you wanted to go and see your mom,
Oh, Jesus,
right?
Rick, just be honest with me.
I'm being honest
Are
with
you?
you, yes.
This is going to be a big eruption. You've got to come with us.
It's going to be exactly what I said that it's going to be.
You know, this little girl may never meet her father because of the decision you're making right now.
Come on, we all believe that this is going to be a moderate eruption. And yeah, things are going to go, you know, a little crazy in this country for a while because everyone's nervous right now.
God, Rick.
That's why I'd just be happier if you both were in London when all that's going on. And then when things calm down, and then I'll come and I'll see you.
Can I go on the plane now?
Yes, you're going to go on the plane now. You take care of your mom, okay?
Okay.
You call me when you get there.
I will.
Be good on the
you.
plane.
See ya.
I'm going to refer you to our San Francisco FEMA office, and I want you to talk to Lisa Cochran. She'll be the one to direct any activity at that point. Okay. 1 moment. Bring the center screen volume up.
A leaked email seen by KZVZ confirms that the U.S. Geological Survey expects an eruption anytime soon, possibly within hours, and possibly with devastating consequences for America and the world.
Oh, God.
I'm Maggie Chin with KZVZ News, reporting to you live from Yellowstone National Park.
A radius of 100 miles around the park is being evacuated amid scenes of chaos and confusion. Highway 20, the main route linking West Yellowstone to Idaho Falls, is at a complete standstill. Meanwhile, towns and cities hundreds of miles from Yellowstone are under siege as panicked buyers stock up on provisions like canned foods and water. Many stores have been forced to close early, prompting fears that violence will soon erupt.
We have to shoot him, we will. We'll defend our property and our life.
You do realize it's the worst possible way to come out, guaranteed to maximize panic. The story's been picked up by all major networks, not just in this country.
All I know, Wendy, is it didn't come from my end.
Nor from Governor Marshall's office, nor from anyone here in Washington. Still, we have to deal with it. Sir, this is Rick Lieberman.
Hey.
Rick, Joe Foster, Secretary for Homeland Security. Michael, you know, of course.
Hey.
Governor Marshall should be joining us at any moment.
Didn't expect to see you here.
Hello, everybody.
Really glad you could join us.
Half my state's about to be vaporized. I thought I should attend.
Rick, please have a seat. I'll get straight to the point. This leak hasn't just caused chaos here, but around the world.
Well, it certainly didn't come from USGS.
Nor FEMA.
All right, people, the buck is well past. Wherever it came from, the media have got hold of it, and now we have got to address it. So, Rick, what I'm going to ask you is very simple. I need you to make a statement ruling out the possibility of a super eruption.
Well, ruling it out.
Nothing bigger than Mount St. Helens. People would accept that, and it's what the evidence suggests.
Well, I can't.
I beg your pardon?
Well, I'm sorry, I can't say that.
Why the hell not?
Because our computer model now suggests that even a small eruption could destabilize the magma chamber and trigger a super eruption.
Rick, I understand that, but you're talking remote possibility.
No, I'm talking about...
What I am talking about are hard facts. Fact one, there are food riots. People are fighting each other to leave the country. Fact two, the dollar is on its knees. Wall Street has crashed. Your country is going down the toilet, and you're telling me you're not prepared to make a statement to help stop that?
Please, with all due respect, sir...
Governor Marshall?
Rick, every highway, every interstate in Montana, Wyoming, Utah, Nebraska, the Dakotas, Iowa, and Nevada is turning into a goddamn parking lot. Everybody's trying to get the hell away from Yellowstone. Nothing's even happened yet.
Yet.
Now, the point is, Rick, even if the worst does happen, with clogging up the roads, screwing up the airlines, that's not going to do any of us
Wendy,
any good.
I appreciate that, Wendy, I do. But until I have something definitive, please don't make me make statements that are contrary to...
You know as well as I do that harmonic tremor can stop as well as start.
Mike.
It's your responsibility.
My responsibility is to tell the public and the landholders what is happening at Yellowstone. You know that. You used to know that.
Actually, Rick, as a federal employee, your responsibility is what's best for the country. Now, you have evidence of an eruption, but, and I've heard you say this yourself again and again, chances of a super eruption are virtually zero.
No, you are right, but...
Then I really don't see what the problem is here. Thank you all. I'll see you in 10 minutes.
Well, tremor's strong and constant. I'm plugging the coordinates into the seismic image. Should give us a clearer idea where the magma is.
Good. You get everything you need, Dave?
I think so. Right, well, enough to get me going until you guys join me tomorrow.
Oh, we'll be out of here first thing.
All right, don't leave it too long.
Don't worry.
Okay.
You out of here?
I'm out of here. See you tomorrow. You take care, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you know,
Rick's on TV.
America and the world has been watching with growing anxiety the developing situation at Yellowstone National Park. After a full briefing from the U.S. Geological Survey and in particular the scientist in charge at Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, Rick Lieberman, I can assure you all that after weeks of intensive monitoring at Yellowstone, they have gathered no evidence to suggest a so-called super eruption is imminent. Instead, the USGS believes that a small to moderate eruption, an event comparable in size to the eruption at Mount St. Helens in 1980, may be due. At this moment, we are taking the appropriate precautions in line with this scale of eruption. The evacuation of the Yellowstone vicinity is currently underway. For those in states bordering Wyoming, we ask you to follow standard state advice, remain indoors, seal all doors and windows, and stock up on sufficient food and water for 3 days. I ask my fellow Americans to stay calm and to use your usual good sense at this time. Thank you.
Mr. Lieberman, up until now, you've been extremely measured in your statements about Yellowstone. Do you agree with Secretary Foster in what he just said now?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
What?
Nailed the poor bastard to the wall.
Passengers on flight HA356 to San Francisco.
Hi. Towards the plane, left-hand side. Boarding pass, please.
Oh.
To left-hand side, sir, towards the rear of the plane.
Okay, thank you.
Hi.
You sitting up here? Oh.
Hello there.
No, I'm back there. Important business in Washington, and USGS has you sitting in the back of the plane.
I recommend a sweet publishing deal. Big TV star like you.
Yeah. Oh, there. I take it you had a gun to your head this afternoon? Yeah. You could say that. Fiona and William? Oh, they're on a plane to London. Oh, see ya.
Okay, guys. The last number's in. Fingers crossed.
Just what are we looking at here?
1,500 cubic kilometers of melt.
$1,500?
That's just the top of the chamber.
Is it eruptible magma? Is it too viscous? Is it too sticky to go anywhere? And this is what we don't want. Is it accumulated in one place?
This model is telling us that even a moderate eruption near Norris could destabilize the rest of the chamber and trigger a
BEI-8, super eruption.
Jesus, you're letting yourself be spooked by a video game.
There's gonna be an eruption, okay? We know that.
I don't need you to tell me what harmonic tremor means.
sorry.
Sir, please sit down. The captain hasn't turned the fasten seatbelt sign off yet. Sir, the
Field office. I need to
Sir,
speak
I
to
have to
Captain,
ask
please.
you to turn your phone off.
Jack! I think he's over here!
Don't touch my arm!